What would happen if a specific part of your brain was damaged? Today we're going to talk about brain localization and cognitive function by Adara, Gavi, and Brianna. The brain is separated into two hemispheres, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Within these two hemispheres, there are four different lobes. The frontal lobe, located in the forehead, the parietal lobe, located right behind that, the temporal lobe, one on each side, but not towards the middle of the brain, and lastly, the occipital lobe at the base of the skull.
The frontal lobe is responsible for higher cognitive functions, which is the ability to process thoughts. The parietal lobe is responsible for sensory information. The temporal lobe is responsible for emotion, memory, and language. And finally, the occipital lobe is responsible for vision.
This is Phineas Gage. Phineas Gage was a construction worker on the railroad. One day, while he was working, there was an explosion caused by dynamite, and this resulted in a metal rod being shot through his head.
The pole penetrated Gage's brain in the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe, where the pole penetrated, has many important functions. The first one is personality of a person, whether they are mean or friendly. Second is determining good versus bad and morality. Third is memory and the ability to process thoughts. And finally, predicting future events and scenarios.
The effect that the metal pole had on Phineas Gage was that he was completely physically able after just a few short months of recovery. There were, however, some extreme mental changes, such as him being more irritable, more violent, considered uncontrollable, and not himself. This unfortunately led to him beginning to molest children. Immediately after his accident, before his wounds had healed, one time he threw up and a piece of his brain fell out onto the floor.
So in conclusion, what did we learn? First, different brain locations correlate to specific cognitive functions. Number 2, the frontal lobe controls personality. And finally, damage to specific parts results in specific disabilities.